Hey, I'm Chuck. Today I'm going to turn a bottle stopper out of a deer antler. It's very similar to turning one out of wood, except there are a couple steps that we're going to have to do with the antler that we wouldn't normally have to do with wood. This is the antler I've selected to go off and turn this bottle stopper with. What's nice about it is when I'm done with the bottle stopper, I may actually be able to get another bottle stopper out of it, and certainly several pin blanks as well. I like to select antlers for turning that have a nice dense marrow. It makes it easy to turn, and it also gives a nice finish when you're through. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the blank from the antler. I'll run it parallel to the end here, and I'll take it down about 1 3/4 to 2 inches. That should be just about the perfect size for what I'm looking for. After we cut the blank, we're going to go ahead and we're going to drill the hole to mount it to the lathe. Now what I've done is I've gone off and I've acquired a coupling nut. I get them at my local hardware store, and they're about the third the price of what some of the turning catalogs are selling them for. This one here is a 3/8 inch 16th TPI, and I paid just about 2 1/4 for it. These guys all buy their hardware from the same suppliers anyway, so they should be pretty competitive in price with each other. I'm going to drill a 9/16 hole through it. That'll fit this coupling nut. I'm going to epoxy it in and let it set in, and at that point we'll be able to go ahead and we'll be able to mount it to the lathe this way and go ahead and turn the product. What's nice about by using the coupling nut like this is we don't have to worry about the bottle stopper portion itself breaking loose inside with the marrow, because there's really just not a lot of action inside that marrow to go off and grip the threads with this. So it's going to give us a nice secure fit this way, and we're not going to ever have to worry about it coming unloose and coming undone. I've tried to set and secure the antler in the vise so that I can drill my 9/16 hole without worry about it going through on any side. My coupling nut is 1 inch deep, so I'm going to drill this hole about 1 1/4 inches, and my plan is to secure that with epoxy to help give some additional binding power to that nut so I don't have to worry about it working free. We have a nice clean hole, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the coupling nut in now and set it with epoxy, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish turning it. I've mixed up some epoxy, and before I did that I actually put the coupling nut on my belt sander just to kind of rough it up a bit. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to apply the epoxy to the inside of the antler and probably put just a dab or so on each side, but I'm going to really kind of coat the sides of this. I did end up putting too much epoxy in the hole, and some of the excess epoxy worked its way up through into the threads. So I got a 3/8 inch 16 TPI tap, and I just rolled it through there and was able to clean out the threads without any problems at all. So we're going to go ahead now, we're going to set it up in the lathe. We'll true it up and we'll form it as much as we can to make it just a little bit easier to grab a hold of and pull out. And I think we're going to have a nice little project here. I'm going to go ahead and use the bushing that comes with this particular kit. All right. I think that we may find that it's going to be just a bit challenging trying to true this particular antler piece up, but we'll go ahead and we'll give it a really good shot at it. I went ahead and I sanded this down to 320. And now that I've done that and basically cleaned the antler off from the sanding, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply a CA finish to it. And I'm kind of optimistic that not only on the smooth portion, but on the natural portion of the antler, we'll be able to bring out the luster on and bring out a real high, durable shine. On a surface like this, I tend to be more of a paper towel guy rather than a tissue guy when I'm applying the CA. And I guess it's whatever feels best for you. I can't guarantee I'm getting the CA into all the crannies here when I'm turning it. So I'm going to just get a light coat in there. I'm not concerned that I can't necessarily buff it out, because if I can buff out the peaks and stuff, that'll be okay. I just want to get a bit of a covering on the part that I can't get by turning because of the irregularity of the antler here. And so that's what we're doing. We're using the official Q-tip here, and I think we're going to be okay on this. I've got a couple coats of the CA on it now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run a little 400 over it to kind of take out any of the imperfections there might be. I'll put another 2 coats probably on it before we go off and then do the finish with the upper grits and the micro mesh. And I'm finding with the irregularity that I'm doing kind of the final pieces by hand anyway. I'm going to run 6, 8, and 1200 grit on this, and then I'm going to shift over to the micro mesh for the final polishing. I'm sure I'm going to probably speed it up or skip grits when I do the final editing, but I'm going to take each grit from 1500 up to 12,000 on the micro mesh, and when we're done we're going to have a really, really high shine that I think is going to look terrific. I am happy with the way it came out. It's got a nice consistent shine all the way through. The areas inside here where we left it natural and actually filled in the CA with the Q-tip, I think looks really nice. And so we're just going to go ahead, we're going to put the actual stopper in it, and then this project will be finished.